Last week, I was first AC on my first like proper film set production, and I learned some stuff. So I'm going to explain what that was. Basically, I was a first AC, and actually, before I talk about what I did, I'll just explain the project a little bit. So it was a 6 episode mini series. We shot it in vertical because it's for like social media, but there'll be like 2 or 3 minute episodes, 6 episode series, but it has sort of the same like scale as like a short film. So there was a crew of like 15-ish people plus cast, and we shot for 4.5 days, and I was first AC mostly. Also, we shot on the Red Komodo X and Laowa nanomorphs. I'm pretty sure they were nanomorphs. They were anamorphics. So vertical anamorphic. There's a whole thing. I'll explain that in a bit. But basically, my role was first AC. I was originally brought on as second AC, but then there ended up being no first AC, so then I sort of took that role. And mostly, I was first AC. I was in charge of, worrying about building the rig and changing lenses and changing batteries and making sure batteries are charged and pulling focus. That was one of my big ones. I was pulling focus a lot of the time because we were shooting on manual lenses. So I was sort of doing first AC roles plus a bit of second AC roles with, the batteries and all that sort of stuff. I was also doing slate a lot of the time. If I wasn't pulling focus, I was in charge of that. And then a lot of the time I actually got to operate. I reckon around a third of the time for the whole shoot, I was probably operating, which was really nice. It was good that the DP would allowed me to, try operating and all that sort of stuff. So that was fun getting to operate a Red. Now onto the lessons that I learned. Firstly, I just learned a lot about cinema cameras in general, I guess, but in particular the Red Komodo X, global shutter. We use PL lenses, so I got to, change those lenses, and I learned a little bit about PL mount because I'd never used PL mount before, so it'll come in handy when I get PL glass. One of the things I was a little bit nervous about was handling this slate. I had never slated before, but after the first couple times, as long as you know what to write, you know what scene it is, what take it is, it's not a big deal. You just, listen to whoever is telling you what you need to do, and it's pretty easy. Not as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be. And same sort of goes with focus pulling. Like, I was a little bit nervous about focus pulling because it's like, what if I mess up, or, what if I go the wrong way, which happened several times. I did go the wrong way, or I went at the wrong time because I didn't know whose line was it and stuff like that. But overall, not too bad. Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Manual focusing, especially when you have a decent wireless system. We use the SmallRig Magic Fizz system, so I had the hand unit, and I was looking at an Atomos Shinobi monitor, the 5-inch one, and yeah, anamorphic. On that, very small. That's not the best quality display. It's a pretty cheap monitor for for a 5-inch display, but it was not too bad. But on the last day, I actually brought my monitors, so I have my Atomos Ninja 5 and also this Fieldworld LUT 7 that's on my FX30 right now. This let me know if you want a whole video on this rig, because I recently got the amount battery and some other rigging stuff, so let me know if you want a video on that. I will be making a video on the monitor soon. But that was one of the things I just noticed on the bigger monitor. It was so much easier to pull focus. Other equipment that we used were things like the SAC camera saddle, which I thought, oh yeah, it's a useful piece of gear, but not game changing. But it kind of was game changing. It made shooting handheld so much easier because we were shooting mostly handheld for the whole thing. But we also used it in place of a tripod a lot of the times because we were shooting vertically. The Red Komodo X wasn't set up for vertical. I rigged it for vertical handheld, but there wasn't an easy way to just chuck a tripod plate on the side so we could shoot vertically. So we just took the handheld rig and just put it on the SAC, and it worked so well. Sometimes I was on an Apple box, on a chair, on the ground, whatever, and it just worked as a tripod, and especially on those handheld shots where it's I'm trying to stay still but still have that natural handheld movement. It's really good at that because it keeps that movement but without all the effort, and you're not standing there starting to shake. Because yeah, if you're holding the camera up like this, like I was on one of the takes on the second day, I was holding the camera up like this. It wasn't rigged vertically yet, so it was actually, it was just not great, and my shoulders were burning because that camera is not light. But the SAC made it so much easier using the camera handheld for everything, and then yeah, also as a tripod. Another thing I noticed particularly about this type of project, it was a comedy, and shooting comedy is really fun because it's a comedy, but it's also really hard because you're trying not to laugh in the middle of a take and ruin the take. You don't want to ruin the take by laughing if you're the crew or you're the one holding the camera. So that was a little extra like challenge that I hadn't really thought about, but it's definitely worth it. Like, trying not to laugh is definitely more fun than it being a super serious sort of thing. I'll still shoot that sort of serious stuff, but shooting comedy was pretty fun. And then the last thing, just sort of like an overall takeaway, I really enjoyed you working with an entire crew. You know, we had like 15 people on set at most times, maybe some down to like 10 at other times, but working with a crew where I had one job, I was in charge of the camera, whether that was ACing or sometimes operating, and that was it. I didn't have to direct. I didn't write this project. I didn't have to do a bunch of other roles that I don't want to do, and all I had to do was deal with the camera, which was so nice, and I want to work on more bigger sets with full crews. It doesn't need to be a huge set, but just an actual crew that isn't just two people. Really nice. And yeah, I want to work on more sets like that. So if you have anything, hit me up. Anyway, that's sort of my thoughts and lessons from my first like proper set on a production. Let me know if you've had similar experiences on your first time on set. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. The project itself will be out sometime later in the year. They're in post-production now. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it'll probably be a number of months. But I'll let you know when all that happens. I'll probably post it on Instagram and stuff like that. But that's all for this one. Thank you for watching. Do all the other things. Let me know if there's any other videos you want, especially on like, you know, this stuff. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye. This is the second time I've recorded this video, and I shot it yesterday on the Nisi Athena 50mm, and now I'm shooting it on the Sigma 24-70. And before now, I'd never really noticed the difference between them and just how they look. It doesn't have, the Nisi doesn't have much character, but it looks so much better than the Sigma. I'd never really noticed it because I'd always like, if I'd compare them, it was like very basic shots, but especially when you got nice bokeh in the background, the Athena really does shine. So, but I messed up the focus. I kept leaning forward out of focus, and it was just really annoying. So we're re-recording it, hopefully making it shorter. Anyway, rant over. Okay, bye.